Tuesday, everybody, and Chiefs, Chiefs fans, Chiefs Kingdom is still reeling from the disgusting loss against the Tennessee Titans on Tuesday, myself included. But we're here today to try to get some refocus and see what we can do, what we can show you, what the Chiefs can do most importantly to help right the ship, whether that comes down to the defense, the offense, special teams, coaching, whatever it is. We're here to talk about it today. This is another episode of Bring in the Mechanics here on the RGR Football Channel. Hey, everybody. My name is Daniel Harms, film analyst here at the RGR Football Channel. And if you want the information on how to find me, it's right here. It's right here. You guys can follow me on Twitter at harmsway19. And that's where I do most of my film breakdowns that aren't our Wednesday night live ones, which we'll be doing again tomorrow evening, focusing on the defense, trying to find some of the silver linings in that game as much as we can. And that'll be, like I said, on Wednesday night. But today, this is another Bring in the Mechanics episode because for everything the Chiefs offense has done well this season, okay, they've had 6 out of 7 games, in my opinion, where they move the ball very well, and then they just continuously have these unspeakable amount of turnovers. And when everything's get going well, they have a turnover, they have a penalty that just completely derails what happens. The momentum is completely shot from that drive and from that game. So we have to figure out what is going on specifically. So I watched the game again twice, probably another 2.5 times on the offensive side. And there's a lot of things that I came away with. I've got a huge note list. I wanted to get through everything. The big thing that I want to talk about is Patrick Mahomes. Yes, Patrick has had some very questionable decision making. And that comes down to him not only putting a lot of pressure on himself, but the entire team putting a lot of pressure on him because the defense is bad. Everybody knows it, and they have to score 30 plus a game to win. They can't have a grinded out game where they score 25 points and they win unless it was against the Washington football team. Like they just have not been able to have those games this season where you can maybe get away with having some unfortunate turnover luck and being able to put up 24 points and win a game. It's just not been feasible this year. And whether that's inexplicably being ingrained in Patrick Mahomes' head that he has to continuously press and press and press and press, we don't really know. I think that he's going to tell us a little bit in this next game. If he's already said a little bit that he is pressing too early specifically in this Titans game. And when you watch it, that's exactly what happened. The very first drive, okay, that they had on offense, they were going smooth. They had a 5-yard run from Darrell Williams. They hit Byron Pringle in the flat. They hit McCole Hardman in the flat for nearly a first down. And then as soon as this penalty comes up, that was not a penalty by the false start on Joe Thuney was not a penalty. Should not have been a penalty. Things just started to go against the Chiefs. They had that first down play to Travis Kelce. And then after that, it was 2nd and 9. And this is where a lot of people are pointing out that Patrick Mahomes is getting too deep in his drops. So specifically from what I've seen, the 11, 12, 13 step drops for the most part are out of the way, out of the picture. Like he's not getting that deep. 10 yards in 2nd and long and 3rd and long situations is relatively normal. And from everything, like I said, everything I've seen, in my opinion, that's now by design. That's who Patrick is. The coaching staff has embraced it. Otherwise, you wouldn't see him do it because they do this every day in practice. So they have to practice 3rd and long situations, okay? Orlando Brown has been fine. We've talked about him this week a lot. He's been a fine tackle. He hasn't been outstanding. He hasn't been complete crap either. But asking him to vertical set against speed, against fast defensive ends, quicker defensive ends that don't need to use anything outside of their quickness and burst to get by him in a 3rd and long situation or a 2nd and long situation where Patrick is going to get deep into his drop and you're not going to chip help with Orlando Brown. You're not even going to fake chip help. Because even that little fake of either, a tight end or running back coming up to give a shoulder to a defensive end will make him go inside a little bit, just a little bit, just fake it. That's all you got to do. But they didn't do that in the first drive. And then Mahomes coincidentally also doesn't step up to his left, to that left side, because this giant gap that's been created by that defensive end going around, and you still have a wall up in front of you. If he just steps up in those pockets, and steps up to his left and doesn't escape where he's comfortable running to his right, we're talking about multiple first downs. On that 2nd and 9 play specifically, he had Tyreek Hill running wide open over the middle of the field. On that 3rd and 7, he had Travis Kelce against man coverage coming wide open over the field. If he just steps up to the left, those plays go. They probably score a touchdown on that drive, and then it's 7-7. Okay? Already taking some pressure off Patrick Mahomes. But instead, he reverts it back onto himself by not being a sound pocket player and seeing the left side of the offensive line and not seeing all of that space created by ignoring it. So yes, Patrick Mahomes has created a lot of issues that the Chiefs offense has faced this year, just because that's how he's playing right now. And they've still moved the ball at an incredible pace. So this game for me is a one-off with how everything has gone for them this season. I really believe that they're going to figure out to reset on offense. They have a game against the Giants coming up. I think Patrick's going to be able to get on the right path. The offensive line can do that. They can figure some things out. But systemically, they need to continuously attack the flats in the middle, deeper parts of the field. Not like super deep, but like intermediate deep parts of the field. Need to see more level concepts. Some drag routes, someone just a short slant coming across some of these defenders' faces with Tyreek Hill and McCole Hardman. Make them think about having to run with them and bring someone over behind them. Okay. You have to be able to attack multiple spots in a zone to be able to survive this cover 3, cover 2, cover 4 stuff that the Chiefs are seeing, and the defenses refuse to get out of. You have to be able to hurt them over the middle of the field. And if you look at the spray chart from Patrick Mahomes against the Titans, there's almost no throws over the middle of the field. Now, most of it was to the right because he's escaping to the right. So he's trying to get out to his right and throw it quickly. That can't be the way that they continuously play on offense. It can't be. There's more issues with the offense in that game than just Patrick Mahomes. But it comes down to playing that. The offensive line also had his worst game of the season against one of the worst defenses they played. Now, the front of the Titans is their strength. It's their strength. That's the best part. They've got speed. They have power. They've got quickness. Everybody seemed to struggle a little bit at times, and that didn't help Patrick's antsy feet in the pocket. So that big thorn in the Chiefs offense side needs to be removed. Patrick needs to be better. The offensive line can do some things to help, but most importantly, the Chiefs need to, and this has been something that a lot of people don't want to hear, and I get it because passing the football is great. It helps everything. They need to emphasize running the football. This offensive line has road graders in it. They can move people up front. Multiple times they move people in that game against the Titans. They just didn't run the ball very much. And that comes down to pressing and play calling as well. Andy Reid needs to understand sometimes that Patrick is great. He's the best quarterback in the NFL when things are going well. But like every quarterback that struggles from time to time, when things aren't going well, you need to help him out. Helping him out with this offensive line is the most important thing that they can do. And without Clyde, Darrell Williams is just he's fine. He's going to be just fine to help get you those 5, 6 chunk yards at a time. That takes pressure off too. If it's 2nd and 4 and 2nd and 5 instead of 2nd and 9 and 2nd and 10, that helps everybody out. They need to fix it. They need to run the ball a bit more, run more true play action passes. All of this pseudo play action nonsense that the Chiefs run where Patrick kind of almost shoves it. He just kind of holds the ball out, but he never actually creates a mesh point so that the linebackers don't have to ever worry about it. He pulls it way before, or he starts running the opposite direction with the ball before there's a mesh point created. That stuff needs to go. That all needs to go. You need to establish that you're going to fake this run. You need traditional play action passes. Otherwise, it's just the same stuff. You're just running the exact same stuff. That no one has to worry about mesh points. They don't have to worry about a play action. They just have to watch Patrick, because as soon as he starts moving away, that ball's going with him, and they all know it. You have to get down to the fundamental roots of football. Run it a little bit more, force defenses to respect it, because the Titans, they didn't care. They didn't care because, one, they had already scored a touchdown and then 2 touchdowns. And after that, the Chiefs were like, we're just going to screw it. We're scrapping the run. We're going to start throwing the football. And Patrick can't continuously always be the one to shoulder the most of the rushing in this situation. He's got to be able to be himself. And if you give him a pocket, if you give him a traditional play action pass where defenses, play the run first, where the defensive line, the linebackers actually play the run first, allows the offensive line to get set up. It'll give him more time in the pocket to actually go through his reads. There's too much half field reads for Patrick because he's got pressure in his face, because the timer in his head is going off and people aren't getting open right away. So he's trying to move out of the pocket so quickly because of these half field reads, and he feels pressure to get out. It's all bad. And that was just this one game. Like I said, this is all coming out from the Titans game. But as the season goes on and you have a game like this at week 7, it shows you that things have to change. You have to do things differently. Like I said, ball movement, running the ball, offensive line, establish the physicality that this offensive line has with the run game a little bit, more play action, levels concepts, hit those flats, hit those middle parts of the field, and get to the corner. Most importantly, being able to force defenses out of those too highs. You have to. Otherwise, this is going to be a continuing problem that the Chiefs have, because at their roots, and at Patrick Mahomes' root, he doesn't want to play it that way. He doesn't want to chunk down the field. He wants to go for the long ball. In order to get him the long ball, you got to be able to show something else. And they've done it for the most part sporadically throughout the season. But this game, with a defense that continuously gives up touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, it puts too much pressure on him. And there's just too much pressure on Patrick Mahomes to be everything, and too much pressure on Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce to be everything in this offense. They don't spread the ball around enough. Byron Pringle doesn't have enough plays called for him. That's the truth of the matter. The running backs don't have enough scripted plays in the passing game. Noah Gray doesn't have enough scripted plays. Yeah, you can't just script plays for Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. You can't. And that's what they do. It's not good. It ends up being bad. Byron Pringle was one of the bright spots of the offense on Sunday. He made plays. He pretty much answered every call. And that play on 4th and 8 is the epitome of what he is. I think Patrick was almost afraid to throw that ball too, because he doesn't like to really throw into coverage very much. You notice he doesn't really like to. I think Jody gave him confidence to do that. Now Jody's gone. I'm hoping with that throw on 4th and 8, that develops some chemistry, some trust between him and Byron Pringle. He's got hands. He has the athleticism. He's got some speed. And he just took a huge shot from a safety closing in on him over the middle of the field that he just bounced right back up. That's the kind of stuff you need to develop trust. I think right now, Byron Pringle, it needs to be more involved in the passing offense. He needs to see 5, 6, 7 targets a week, scripted targets, because the defense focuses on other people. If you can make them focus on a Byron Pringle, even a Josh Gordon, who they're refusing to use, or a running back, you can take some pressure off of the best players in this offense. And it feels like the Chiefs just want to drop back, put it in their best players' hands, and only look to them on some of these situations. And Patrick also needs to get out of that himself. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack in this game, and it all came down the same crap that they've done year after year after year, and just put it all on Patrick to be the best he is when this defense can't stop a nosebleed. And I know that they only gave up 27 points, but you guys, only giving up 27 points in this league will lose you games when defenses don't have to worry about your offense, especially with the way they're turning the ball over. Let's see. Let's go over a few more notes. And I talked about the half field reads. That has to change. He's got to be able to get to both sides. There were some sporadic instances where he was able to kind of look one side and get to the other. But I think that was more of him holding a safety or holding a defender and then getting to the read he was trying to get to anyway. He needs to look at receivers on both sides. You have to be able to read both sides of the field. And right now, I don't think he's doing that very well. Maybe I'm wrong. It's like I said, every time they feel like they move the ball, something bad happens. These penalties, like they had that huge run play off of an RPO to Darrell Williams, and it ends up coming called back from a hold that I don't even think existed on Trey Smith. I watched that play. I don't even know where a hold came from. Like it seems like he got on the linebacker and they just threw a flag. Like I don't understand what happened there. Again, you can't blame penalties and stuff like that because they're going to happen. You just have to continuously be able to chunk down the field. And that play specifically, that RPO, that needs to change as well. They need to start running the ball on some of these RPOs where Mahomes just throws it, where he pulls it and throws it. We talked about that after the Super Bowl, that he should have done that more then. I thought he would have learned from that experience, and he hasn't. They need to do it more. I think hopefully seeing that run and the fact that you can do it on a lot of these RPO plays and get 6, 7, 8 yards. I know he wants to get 10 and plus, but you have to make them respect the run because they don't. They just don't. No team does. They did a little bit with Clyde, but right now no one cares about Darrell Williams. So you have to make them care about Darrell Williams. One way to do that is to run it down their throats a little bit here and there. Just do it. Also, one thing in this game that bothered me, there was not one jet sweep motion until 3 minutes left in the third quarter. The Chiefs did not use orbit. They didn't use jet sweep motions. They didn't use McCole Hardman in the way that he's been used all season to create movement from the defense. They pretty much just lined up and just hiked the ball. Every once in a while, you got Travis Kelce moving from out wide to reduce split to just show you the coverage, but they're not moving the defense any with these jet sweep motions in that game. That was so frustrating to watch, just them not care. No play action, no real jet sweeps, no orbit motions to make people respect, and only one end around and reverse. You have all this creativity, you have all the speed, and they didn't want to use it in the areas that they were being allowed to use it. So it's all got to get fixed. But at the end of the day, like we said, this is all about fixing things. They can do that. Like they can fix these things. And it's not so crazy to think that this one game is a one off in terms of the offense not being able to move the ball. Like I said, they've been able to do it all season. And just something came down and Mahomes fought with himself. The offensive line had its worst day. More drops, more interceptions, more fumbles. Again, things that should not be continuing are. So you have to play like they're going to happen and you have to play safer. You got to run the ball a little bit more, establish some of these quick out plays. Like they were working early on and they had to feel like they had to go away from them for some reason and stop trying to just run 3 deep and say, Patrick, save us. Go score a touchdown. They can do that. Mahomes can ring it in, and he's going to have to adapt. He's going to have to adjust. They have to adjust. The whole offense, the whole coaching staff, Patrick Mahomes, everything. They all have to get with it this week. If this is not a wake-up call, that's a problem, and it's a systemic issue that needs to be resolved at a higher level. And Andy Reid, whether he's refusing to believe it's true, whether anybody on the coaching staff is refusing to believe what's going on can continue to happen instead of trying to fix it, that says something. So we'll see this week against the Giants, which they are double-digit favorites for some reason, even though they haven't been able to stop anybody. Well, I want to see them command another game like they did against Washington. Come out and just play a full game. Give me something. Give everybody something to go off and say, look, we're trying to fix some stuff. And I do think they can do it. That's the thing. They're holding themselves back from what they have been all season and what they can be. That's the most disappointing part of this whole thing, is that they still can be great. You just got to get out there and fix it and work on it and improve every day like they say they are. But you got to see it on the field. With that, that'll be all for this video. A lot of rants, a lot of stuff that I'm hoping you guys find fun. Again, if you guys want to put anything you think can help, it doesn't even matter at this point. Whatever you guys want to see from the offense, specifically from the offense, go ahead and drop down in the comment section, and we'll have some fun conversations later in the week, next week after hopefully the Chiefs win, and really kind of get back to this part and see what the Chiefs did to adjust and what you guys suggest. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So yeah, make sure you're putting down in the comment section something you want to see differently going forward from the Chiefs offense, and make sure to hit that like, hit that sub, and the bell notification for the RGR football channel. Ryan and I will greatly appreciate it. Everybody here at the RGR Football Channel, Aaron, our mod father, does a great job. Everybody here, just we can't thank you guys enough for the support you constantly give us and everything that you've done to continue to have us be where we are. So again, thank you guys. Have a great day.